We know that agriculture is, emitting almost 25% of the total greenhouse gases that we emit every year, and population is growing, so it's always a challenge to grow food, healthy food, enough food for all the people, and also not have a horrible effect on the environment. Not just greenhouse gases, but soil erosion, soil carbon loss, water pollution, air pollution, and so on. So this nice report is about solving the great food puzzle. Right innovation, right impact, right place comes from the World Wildlife Federation, and some props here used for agricultural activities, including dairy farming, and we talked about reducing methane emissions and so on and so forth. Right off the bat, let's read the key points. So it's about right innovation, right impact, and right place. So we have to identify places where this is most urgent, let's say. Innovations are centrally important to solving the great food puzzle. Innovations are catalysts that can accelerate national level food system transformation by helping to close three critical gaps that can hinder action in countries: the ambition gap, the transformation gap, and the implementation gap. Transformation gap generally means that we are doing things in a wrong way and we cannot make incremental changes. We have to make transformative changes and jump to some new way of doing everything. Secondly, place matters, and there are no silver bullets or one-size-fits-all innovations. Identifying strategic innovations that will accelerate or catalyze system-wide. I got emotional. So let me read again. Identifying strategic innovations that will accelerate or catalyze system-wide change and put food systems on a pathway to healthy diets from sustainable food systems requires close attention to local, social, political, cultural, and ecological circumstances. As climate scientists, we often ignore or are completely blind to social, political, cultural, and ecological circumstances in which things happen. So anything we say about climate change and the urgent need for climate action and the crisis that has to be averted, we have to always place it in the context of livelihoods, lives, and cultural issues, etc. Thirdly, innovation comes in many forms, from creating new tools and technologies to finding creative new approaches with solutions already in hand. In food systems, there are different types of innovation, including social, consumer, technological, business, and financial, as well as policy innovations. The fourth one, who is at the table matters. It takes local expertise to identify the right innovation, right impact, right place in a particular context. Unintended consequences for people or unexpected environmental trade-offs can be avoided if local stakeholders have their agency elevated in the selection, development, and deployment of our new food system innovations. Acceptance, socio-technical transitions are always difficult and challenging in terms of knowing where the levers are to make the transitions possible. Finally, I think we have a few more points. The right innovations are those that amplify the impacts of specific actions, so transformation levers for food system transformation, and ideally can be applied strategically to affect one or more actions, accelerating impacts throughout the food system. Changes applied to the food system can range from smaller to major and can either sustain or disrupt existing systems. So is it about supporting existing systems that are sustainable in the sense of being good for the food production and environment as well as for people, or are they some things that need to be phased out? Sixth one, the right impact means anticipating the kind of change, smaller or major, needed and impact any proposed innovations might have in a particular place. Sustaining innovations advance existing ways of doing things. Disruptive innovations destabilize existing norms, institutions, and markets, and may shake up existing systems. In adaptation, we have talked, or even in sustainability, we have talked about bringing in disruptions where people have inertia. They know things, they know they are not perfect, but they don't like change anyways. Okay. Seventh one, sustaining innovations are often important in contexts where people are exploring or are already engaged in healthy and sustainable food production and consumption practices. Disruptive innovations are often important in nations with food systems that are entrenched and hard to change, or are engaged in unhealthy and unsustainable practices. Given the immediate need for action, this is the eighth one, it can be easy to focus on treating easily recognizable symptoms, but taking a systems approach can help decision makers identify the most appropriate level of food systems to target. A systems approach is about identifying and treating the underlying factors that have given rise to unhealthy and unsustainable food systems. Ninth one, the right place means paying close attention to the social and ecological context in which the innovation is to be implemented. Depending on the local context, innovations will perform differently from one food system to the next, and we need to zoom in on the unique features of each food system to determine which innovations will deliver the necessary impacts. Enclosure, the final one, enclosure over innovation and the Jevons paradox are examples of unintended consequences that can occur when innovations are chosen without consideration of right innovation, right impact, right place. Not all innovations, no matter how compelling, are fit for every context. What is Jevons paradox? Basically, it talks about how when you actually improve efficiency or something that eliminates bad practices, people may just consume more. Examples have, there are many examples. People buy a hybrid car or a EV, and they think they are doing something good for nature, so they may start driving more. Okay, so you may stop eating meat, but you may drive more. So Jevons paradox basically says that good innovation may have unintended consequences of actually increasing the emissions that you are trying to reduce, and so on. It's also called a moral hazard. For example, if you get insurance, you may just, to cover your risks, it may just make you increase your exposure to risks. So these are tricky situations that have to be dealt with. How long am I here? Let's say it's only 8 minutes, so let's read a bit more about the executive summary, and then this will be definitely more than one podcast because there is a lot of material. I'm taking very, just summary, but still it's going to be at least 2 or 3 podcasts. What's the executive summary? Our food systems are at the center of some of the biggest challenges of our time, which means they must also be at the center of our quest for solutions. As we work to solve the great food puzzle, which we will define in a minute, innovations are key to unlocking potential of food systems as solutions to the nature and climate crises. On its own, innovations won't be enough to achieve healthy diets from sustainable food systems for all. Still, innovations can accelerate national level food system transformation by helping to close 3 critical gaps that can hinder action in countries. These gaps are the ambition gap, just in terms of wanting to improve the food production system to reduce emissions and environmental impacts. The transformation gap, where you have some pathway to change the ways, but you don't have the finance, you don't have the expertise, you don't have the political will or political system, institutions, and so on. And the implementation gap, which again might come down to financial aid needed or just regulatory structure and so on. There is no one-size-fits-all solution that can deliver the food systems transformations needed in all countries around the world. Different regions and nations face a range of diverse opportunities and challenges shaped by local ecology, culture, and histories of development. Given the urgent and high stakes raised to solving global problems, a rigorous place-based approach is needed to identify the right innovation with the right level of impact in the right place. This approach will help to ensure the most impact in the shortest time possible. In this study, we provide a guidance for all stakeholders working on innovation. The right innovation, right impact, right place framework will help anyone designing or supporting innovations in food systems to build an innovation toolkit to maximize impact and achieve national level health and environmental goals. The framework helps in choosing innovations that will best amplify the impact of 20 transformation levers that transcend boundaries and hold much promise for transforming food systems, which we'll look at in section 1, anticipating the kind of change and impact any proposed innovation might have, and using systems thinking to identify and treat root causes of the problems we want to reverse. In section 2, we will discuss this. Understanding the social and ecological context in which the innovation is to be implemented, that will be discussed in section 3. This helps anticipate unintended consequences that can arise when innovations are not critically reviewed. So that's also part of section 1. Ultimately and most importantly, who is at the table and who is empowered to take the lead matters. Innovations can work in two directions. They can sustain existing ways of doing things or disrupt them. Innovations can also go wrong. Despite best intentions, innovations can backfire in ways that create or worsen power asymmetries and social injustices, and accelerate environmental degradation rather than reducing it. A wide diversity of perspectives is critical, especially from local experts and knowledge holders, for avoiding these pitfalls and fitting a successful innovative strategy to local needs, circumstances, and values. Right? So let me read that again. A wide diversity of perspectives is critical, especially from local experts and knowledge holders, for avoiding these pitfalls and fitting a successful innovation strategy to local needs, circumstances, and values. There have been many examples where projects have been funded which have ignored indigenous knowledge and local experts and have ended up creating unintended consequences or not meeting their goals. Okay, so maybe I'll just read a bit more, even though it gets a bit longer. This is not the first study to discuss the complexities of innovation or argue for a place-based approach. What makes this paper novel is that that the set of concepts and questions we have assembled and how we bring these to life with examples of a wide range of innovations from around the world, some novel and highly technological, others familiar but applied in creative new ways. These are the examples shown. As we all work to solve the great food puzzle, we hope the right innovation, right place, right impact, right innovation, right impact, right place framework presented in this study will help ensure that each action taken will have the most impact in the shortest time possible. So, right innovation means choosing innovations that amplify the impact of transformation levers and ideally can be applied to affect one or more levers to accelerate change. Right impact means anticipating the kind of change and impact any proposed innovation might have in a particular place. Right place means paying close attention to the social and ecological context in which innovation is to be implemented. Okay, so we'll come back and continue on current food systems, and actually we'll define the great food puzzle. I should probably do this first, but maybe this is suspense that'll keep you engaged, so we'll come back and discuss more. Okay.